I'm Adam, and this is my Actions Toward Progress mini talk on inverse grant proposals. If you're a scientist or engineer or technologist who wants to build something, this is how it normally works. One of the existing funding bodies puts out a solicitation and you apply for it. You have to fit your work into their solicitation. Now, as many people in the progress community know and talk about, the existing funding structures are not perfect, and in particular, there are probably certain types of work and certain types of people that are structurally left out of the funding structures as they exist now. It's not merely that it's competitive, but there are structural gaps, and the full set of what the structural gaps are and what these gaps impact is not really something that's well understood. So here's what I propose. Incredibly simple. We just do the inverse. So instead of you writing a grant proposal for an existing solicitation, I want scientists and engineers and people that want to work on research to write inverse proposals. So you tell the world what is the structure that you would like to be applying for. What is the structure that should be funding you? What is the structure that would work to fund what you actually want to do, rather than trying to fit yourself into the existing structures? And maybe other people will also agree with that, or we'll have homologous proposals, and they can be aggregated, or others can simply comment and agree that there is a class of work where a new kind of funding model is needed. And so instead of just proposing the work within an existing funding model, you propose what the funding model should be to do the work that really matters, and try to convince everyone that that's actually a new funding model that's needed. So if that works, then the world, maybe broadly, the impact of the progress oriented community and others can make that real. So just as a few examples, right? Uh, imagine a person like this. Imagine a really smart person in college who has some project that they want to do. They would like to be supported to drop out and work on that project, and they believe they know how to do it. Some years ago, before the Thiel Fellowship was created, for example, this was a fairly heretical concept, and there wasn't really much in the way of funding in that category. Since then, both the Thiel Fellowship and now many kind of follow-on efforts have been supporting this class of person and project. Likewise, I'm interested in a particular model, which is something you can think of as sort of medium scale science, or if you have a project that requires a level of coordinated teamwork that is not compatible with the academic incentive structures, but at the same time is focused on a sort of fundamental science or technology building block that isn't naturally a market-oriented startup, at least not right away. So what would it look like to have a sort of Series A round equivalent for science and sort of basic fundamental engineering or platform projects in the philanthropic sector? Well, we've sort of put out a solicitation of our own that argues for the need for this and suggests that the government and also philanthropists would start getting organized around supporting this type of funding model, which we call focused research organizations. So those are two examples. But I think there are probably many other examples like that. And what I suggest to you is that if there's something that you really believe is important and you want to build, and you don't see something that you could squeeze yourself into an existing funding model, but maybe that's not optimal for what you want to do. Tell the world what's optimal, because we have the internet now, and we have a growing understanding of how to create new models in the world for supporting different kinds of work. Very different from some decades ago when you would have to get directly involved in the policy process in order to influence this. So that's my suggestion. Thanks.